Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman, and I'm on my way out to get a few things at the store, and I'm currently driving through a winter wonderland here because we had sleet and freezing rain. It's kind of beautiful. The trees are covered with ice. I don't know if you can see it. I'm probably moving around too much. But anyways, what I wanted to do was make a driving video, because you're not cool on YouTube until you've made a driving video. And what I wanted to talk about was the latest video post by SisterSunnshine. I really came to enjoy SisterSunshine's videos. I've watched her videos before, and then I watched the period where she started doing these funny videos, hanging out on Stickcam. I got to know her, and before that, I used to think, she was a hardline fundamentalist, so I kind of never got in conversations with her talking about different things, but I happened to catch her in Stickcam with Bert Keane and all those people, and it was really nice to have conversations with her, and I really enjoyed her videos, on where she's being sarcastic and having some fun on YouTube, and it was pretty interesting to see that other side. Then all of a sudden, a rumor went out that she somehow was talking about YokeUp and all that, and then she did an apology video to YokeUp, and then YokeUp did a video back, and he ends up being, in that video, a spiritual bully, because he questions the salvation. Sorry. He questions the salvation of SisterSunnshine. And I often wondered about that, because there's a type of psychology that goes with it within the evangelical community, meaning that when somebody questions your salvation, you start having second thoughts yourself, and you're almost programmed to do that in ultra-conservative movements. So, you start thinking, well, maybe it is. And I find it interesting that somebody I knew went to revival meeting, and they were a very pious Christian, and the preacher or minister, out of the blue, comes up and says, "Oh, I feel God telling me that you need to go and pray, that you might have sinned," just randomly. And to me, that's an insult to a person's salvation, to make them second guess. And if there ever was a person or a being such as Satan, I would think that it would be him who would be making people second guess their salvation. And I just think it's wrong. I think it's spiritual bullying. So then SisterSunnshine pulls back. She ends up repenting and posts this video about how maybe she was wrong and doing some of the things that she did, and how the only thing on her channels now is going to be about salvation and spirituality, and so what about that? Is it fair to have a person live in fear? And what about the person questioning? Do they ever? Does anybody ever question them? Did anybody ever question YokeUp about his salvation? I'm sure we do it all the time, but he's so narcissistic that he probably doesn't. It's probably not psychologically triggered in him to respond the same way as others, simply because he thinks he's above all that. Yeah, he's come on, but I think that the videos where he did come on, he may be insincere. So what about that? What about spiritual bullying? What about what measures does a person have to know if they are actually quote-unquote saved or not? There's no law code or no system, because they're all afraid about being too Jewish, or we're trying to stay away from the law, and we're trying to stay away from things like that. It's written on our hearts, blah blah blah. Then what happens is there's a diverse of unsaid things that you have to worry about continually if you're following them or not. The unsaid or unspoken or the social norms of the group on what that means ends up being the rule system for the believer. So that's why Pentecostals and Baptists might not get along or have different rules. And that's why people chide other Christians for doing this or that, because there is no set rule system. I know some belief systems that it is not okay to wear pants. It is not okay to wear sleeves above your elbows. They would see that as being worldly or sinful. And I know some who are perfectly good Christians, quote-unquote Christians, who have no issue with that. I know people who think it's a sin to drink beer. So who says who is a Christian and who says who is not? And I find it fascinating that people use all these psychological techniques to bully the underlings into compliance, maybe into their point of view. And I find that as an insult to a person's spirituality. And once again, the only person who would do that and make a person ask questions about their spirituality is the devil himself. And I hope Sister Sunshine comes back around and has some good conversations about it. And I hope that she's not continually bullied into submission by other people. I have no idea of the situation, but I don't think that Sister Sunshine went over the edge at all. Granted, a lot of people would see me as the devil himself, because they say, wait a minute, what do you know? You're not even in the belief system. I don't care. I read the same biblical literature. I was evangelical. I know the psychological tactics that they use, and I know the psychological pressure that is on believers to perform, and I know that the goals are set so high that nobody could ever reach them. Now that's one of the things too, where people feel guilty. Oh, am I being a good Christian or not? They continually beat themselves up when they don't see the results that they think they should have, or that they're told they should have. And I think that the constant beating over the head is hindering a lot of the things that these Christians could do, and it keeps them in the closet, which is exactly what these ministers intend to do. Keep them in the sheep pen until the apocalypse. We'll wait it out, but I don't think that was the gospel message. I don't think it was. Jesus did most of his stuff alone. Jesus didn't allow anybody to bully him. When Peter questioned his ideas about going to the cross and his prophecy, how he would be killed or whatnot, Jesus said, "Get behind me, Satan." And what was he saying to Peter? I'm going to do it, and I don't really care what you say. You're just a hindrance to me. And I think that a lot of Christians get in the way of each other due to whatever reasons, personal convictions, multi-denominational ideas being all mixed in the pot. Nobody knows exactly what rules to conform to. They say, oh, we have a conscience. However, that doesn't always work sometimes the way it should. And then people end up criticizing one another for their shortcomings. And it's amazing. So rather than magnify a person's or what a person does and appreciate the person, and the only life that they get, they would rather criticize a person on being less of something. And to me, that's probably one of the reasons why I left. I felt a huge relief when I left, because I wasn't clubbed over the head. And yes, they did try to save me when I went back to church, but I drew the line in the sand. I drew the line in the sand and said, I no longer think this way. I'm sorry. You people are very nice people, but I can no longer continue with these views and with this belief system the way it is. And they're not going to fix it. So I think that just like Jesus hung on the cross alone, between two thieves, even denied by the divine himself, alone, denied by both God and men, he still had a chance to do something hanging between the two thieves. He forgave one, which is a beautiful thing. They weren't apostles hanging on that tree. The apostles didn't help him carry the cross to Calvary. It was people who were outside of the belief system. So take care, friends, and remember, if everybody's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking.